Wrestling fans from around the corner, around the world. I'm Dan Marotti.
And I'm Mr. USA, Tony Atlas.
It took him a second.
Always does.
Before we get to this great full-length episode of Memories and Legends, check out some of our great friends you can help support the cause to keep more Memories and Legends coming your way.
Champion, the Brahma Bull, the Great One, and this,
finally, The Rock has come back,
is his story. Journey alongside the millions in this definitive guide to
the most electrifying man in sports and entertainment.
See The Rock. Like you've never seen him before.
But The Rock is cooking.
The World of The Rock. Available now.
Wrestling fans, check out the brand new lapel pin from our friends at Crimson Mask. Inspired by Stone Cold Steve Austin and Vince McMahon, it's Bang 316. Only $8 each or 2 for $12. If you think it makes a great holiday gift, give me a hell yeah. Get yours today at crimsonmask.bigcartel.com.
This is Mick Foley.
This is Harley Race.
This is Shelton Benjamin.
This is Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
This is the Monster Abyss.
And this is Daniel Bryan.
This is JBL, and you're watching the MWF.
Be there live.
Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, the winter time is slowly but surely moving on through, Tony. It's WWE Fastlane weekend. WWE's out in Cleveland, Ohio, their last pay-per-view stop before the big one, WrestleMania 35 next month. Very happy to have you back once again, buddy.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you. And you know the last time we talked about why the house shows are not doing as well. Well, you just mentioned the pay-per-view. Now, if you ain't got a whole lot of money, guess what you can't see?
Pay-per-view.
Pay-per-view.
Well, you know what? That's wrong. Now with the advent of WWE Network, you can see the pay-per-views for $10 a month.
If you got a computer.
If you have a computer.
What if you don't have a computer?
You got to pay $65 on pay-per-view.
See what I'm saying?
There you go.
That's what I'm saying. But in my day, you could go see wrestling at least somewhere in America. If you especially live in a large city like Boston or New York or Philly or these major cities, you could see wrestling on television every week, but you can see it live at least once a month. Vince got to get back to running in at least, let's say Boston, for example. It should be here at least 6 times a month. At least, minimum.
6 times a month?
I mean a year.
A year,
I'm sorry,
okay.
I misspoke. At
That's
least
a little
6 times.
too much, yeah.
At least 6 times.
Right.
At least that. To keep the people interested.
To keep it part of their life routine.
That was part of their world, and it was.
It was, and that you're accurate
They don't
about
want
that.
to sit home and watch freaking TV.
They want to be there.
They want to be there.
Live.
They want to be involved live. But by the time he come there, they don't lost interest.
They got something else.
Yeah, he don't come around enough to keep people interested in nothing. He depended totally, like most people, totally on the internet, totally on television, and totally on pay-per-view. Because, see, the reason they're doing that, they're not looking at the fans. I hate to say it. They're looking at sponsors.
Right.
That's all they look at. So they figure, well, if I run the Boston Garden, I'm probably going to go make, on the average, maybe $100,000 even if it sell out. But if I do a pay-per-view, I'm going to make millions of dollars. Yeah. They thinking more about the money and less every day about the fans.
All right, Tony. Speaking about the fans have reached out to us gave us a very interesting topic now that the road to WrestleMania has begun. Our good friend Cade Cook out in Hoisington, Kansas, wanted us to talk about the 2006 WWE Hall of Fame. And who happened to be inducted in the year 2006?
I don't know who.
It's one of the two people on this set right now.
Wait, let me see. Blackjack Mulligan?
It's not, no, Blackjack isn't with us.
Okay. Was it Blackjack Lanzer?
No, he's not with us either.
Mean Gene Oakland?
No, not Mean. I wish Mean Gene was here.
Greg Gagne?
I think Mean Gene would be touching my cup. You know what I mean?
Sensational Sherri?
No, Sherri unfortunately isn't
Bret
with
Hart?
us. Not Bret.
Well, who in the hell was it?
The man in the yellow shirt, Mr. USA, Tony Atlas.
Oh, I was there?
You were there, brother.
Oh, boy, I don't remember that.
Take us on a trip down memory lane through what had to have been a tremendous achievement for you, being inducted in, at that time, really the only third solid presentation WWE had in its Hall of Fames.
Well, to be honest with you, I wish I played pro ball.
Why?
Because then I could have one wrestling match that still got inducted.
There you go. All right, we're going to talk about that.
And you know, he mentioned that. He said, this is strange. He said, I'm known for playing one sport and get inducted in the Hall of Fame in another one.
Another that he only was part of once.
Yeah. He said, he's only wrestled one time and I'm in the Hall of Fame. And there was guys sitting there in the audience that wrestled thousands of times that never made it.
All right, Tony, let's, like I said, a trip down memory lane indeed.
That's the thing I remember the most.
Do you remember who first reached out to you about being part of the Hall of Fame?
Howard Finkelton.
And what did Howard say to you?
Howard said that I've been nominated to be in the WWE Hall of Fame. Would I like to attend? I told him yes. Then he asked me who would I like to bring with me. I said, well, there's only two people, my daughter and my wife. And my daughter didn't want to go.
Oh,
so that's why, who knows why some woman want to do
all right,
something?
you know what? That's a very valid point.
Yeah. I mean, I know a lot of women. When you figure out women, you let me know.
Well, I remember the fun I had when I went with the Sheik to his induction the year before in Los Angeles back in 2005. That's a different story for a different time. It was a lot of fun. But did it make you feel good that you received that call?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
It's an honor.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite an honor when your peers choose you to, because it's all voted on, you know, they vote on
internally.
It, you know. Yeah, you know, all your peers, Pat Patterson and Sergeant Slaughter and all them guys that sit in the room, and then they go through a list of names and they decide who they think deserve the honor of being a WWE Hall of Famer. So it was a great honor. It's still a great honor.
Let me ask you this, Tony. As far as all the great legends that vote, do you think maybe there were others that should have deserved the nod before you? Thousands? I don't know about thousands.
No, I do.
You think there were thousands of wrestlers that deserved that spot before you?
Yeah.
All right, well, that's a very honest answer. And I tell you this, with the egos in professional wrestling.
If you start to think about all the wrestlers, like Ivan Koloff.
Bruno.
The Bruno. I mean, Bruno family towards the end. You know, he got it, but you got there's Klondike Bill. All these people we just got through talking about, Klondike Bill, the Scott brother, George and Sandy Scott. You know, Abe Jacobs. I mean, Wahoo McDaniels.
Yeah.
Come on, I mean, he was one of the biggest stars this business I've seen.
Ever.
You know, the Hall of Fame football player. You know, the list go on. So you can go through a whole list of guys. Vader.
Leon still hasn't been
Van
inducted,
Vader.
right?
Never, you know.
And that's a shame. They had time to put him in.
Super Bowl champion twice. He was on 2 Super Bowl teams. He had 2 rings.
You got crucified the first time you said that.
But he got 2 rings.
Well, maybe he bought one. I don't know.
I don't know. He had 2 Super Bowl. Well, he had 2 Super Bowl rings on his finger. I don't know where the other one came from.
eBay.
But he did have. but you know, nevertheless, you know, and then what really made a lot of the old timers is what William Perry said. How could I play one sport and get inducted in another one? There's people that only been on maybe one WWE show, and they in what they call the Celebrity Hall of Fame. They only have to go there one time.
And that's just a marketing gimmick more than anything.
Well, regardless of what it is,
it can be insulting.
Think about the guy that had the broken bone, the loose teeth, guys in wheelchair now for what they did in the pro wrestling. Sacrificed their family, sacrificed being home, made all the sacrifice, made the trip, bled in the ring, went into the ring injured, and now he's old and broke. Tommy Wildfire Rich, former NWA champion. Never thought about him being in the Hall of Fame. Is Kevin Sullivan in the Hall of Fame? See what I'm saying? What's the holdup? Black Bart? What's the holdup?
Oh, I don't know about Black Bart. He was kind of a jobber during his run.
No,
there.
really. I mean, he wrestled all over in Texas and everywhere. You know,
No, I'm not talking about his career. I'm talking about his body of work in WWF.
Than William Perry.
Sure. But like I said, the celebrity wing is a marketing gimmick to try and get some media
but
attention.
Nevertheless, there's a lot of wrestlers being ignored every year that I thought should have been there.
Fair enough.
I really do. I see a lot of guys that I knew in the past that, yes, should have been a Mil Mascaras. He ever made it? Mil Mascaras?
I think he is. I'm not 100% sure, though.
I can go on and on naming people.
Well, let me ask you this.
What about Don Jardine, the spoiler, the one Undertaker imitated?
No, not yet.
You know, he used to walk the rope
I
back in the 70s.
absolutely know that. You are correct.
Think about it.
There
John Leotha Jonathan.
He just passed.
Yeah, but did he make it?
Right.
See what I'm saying?
It had been 2006.
And women wrestlers, I can name a ton of women wrestlers.
Now, let's not go too far.
Yeah, going back midgets, a lot of midgets. Lily Lewis never got in there. Had Laura Littlebrook ever made it?
No midgets.
See?
Well, let me ask you this, Tony. 2006, you get the call. I don't remember you being a part of any WWE events or endeavors going all the way back to 1997 when you were involved in that scenario with The Rock for a very, very short period of time.
Yeah.
Was there any interaction with you in WWE between 97 and 06?
None.
None, really?
Zero.
So you really must have been surprised to get that call.
I was shocked.
But happy.
Oh, I'm happy. I'm very happy. I mean, I wear this ring with pride. I mean, I'm very, very proud of being honored. But what I've said, you asked the question, well, do I think there was other that should have been there? Yes, I think there are others that should have been there. I'm very happy that I was chosen, and I wouldn't trade it for all the tea in China. And I'm not criticizing the WWE, but I do know from my experience of traveling around the world and our stuff that there's a lot of guys that, like, you take Mark and Jay Youngblood. Now, you know, that was great tag team. Did they put Bruiser Brody in?
No. No, I get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
I get where you're coming from.
They put Abdullah the Butcher in, but not
and he
Bruiser
never worked
Brody.
there. Brody at least had a main event run in the 70s with Bruno. Yeah.
But not Brody. You know, it is a big list of guys that I feel, personally, you know, that should, you know, be honored. Because there was a lot of guys that made a lot of great sacrifice for this business long before I came into the business. You take like Paul Jones. He was a very popular wrestler, USA champion.
I think you need to be fair in that you meant a heck of a lot more to WWE than a lot of those guys ever did.
Well, they got Verne Gagne that wrestled for WWE.
Well, again, it's kind of an eccentric mix. Very eccentric mix.
There you go. You got a lot of guys that in the WWE Hall of Fame never even wrestled in the ring.
When the Fink reached out to you, did he give you the typical deal?
What is the typical
The
deal?
$5,000.
I don't talk money.
Yes, you do.
No, that
you did about Legends House.
Well, yeah, but I learned not to do that.
Did you get the 5?
I ain't gonna say.
And did your inductor get the 3?
I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you this. If it was more, I think you would have told me. So I'm going to guess it was...
I don't know what Vince gave me. He said he owed me money.
I tell you, Bobby Heenan used to live on those $3,000 payoffs for the inductions every year for a long, long time. He had so much fun with
I'm going to tell you something.
What do you got?
Vince still owed me money. He didn't pay me.
He didn't give you your $5,000?
No, Vince, send me that $5,000.
Did they put you up in first class when they flew you out?
No.
They didn't put you in first class for the Hall of Fame?
Are you kidding me?
Not even for the Hall of Fame?
Are you kidding me?
I thought that was kind of standard.
Are you kidding me?
So you flew coach to the Hall of Fame?
Brother, a lot of wrestlers fly coach to the Hall of Fame.
I know they got Chic a limo. Did you get a limo?
Let me give you.
All right, let's hear it.
Let me give you an example of how they do things.
All right.
Now, this is the honest God truth. Every time I would go to Atlanta, Georgia, they got a direct flight that goes to Atlanta. They would book me on a flight when I was with Mark Hendrick that went from Portland, Maine to Detroit, Michigan. Then from Detroit to Atlanta. So, we're going to do a show. I'm going to WrestleMania when they had it in Detroit.
Yep.
I was just, I wasn't part of the show. I was just there with the art show and Fan Fest. I told my wife, I said, oh, great. I'm going to get a direct flight to Detroit. You right?
Yeah.
Wrong.
Where'd you go?
I can't remember exactly where I go, but I knew it was not direct. Vince never put me on a direct flight. If I had to fly to California, I had to catch 4 planes.
Really?
Yes. Every time he flew me out west, I took 3 to 4 flights.
Wow. It's a long day. So I always thought it was...
They may be not accommodated with other people. They wasn't that accommodated to me. Now, how they did someone else, I don't know. But you could go back, he could, everything I say, Vince could prove it because he got the records. Vince had never put me on a direct flight.
I'm not even talking about a direct flight. I'm talking about first class.
He could fly me to Philly
in
45 minutes from Portland. But before I fly direct to Philly, he would fly me to Chicago first and then to Philly. He would, because it'd be cheaper.
It'd be cheaper, right. I understand
and
that.
when I got off the airport, there was no limousine. I got a rent-a-car.
For the Hall of Fame weekend, you had to get a rent-a-car? You've got to be kidding me. I know.
Everything is pecking order, brother.
The Vizieris and the Orndorffs split the limo because, like I said, I went out with them.
Well, they got better treatment than I did.
Maybe that's just how they did it in 2006. I don't know.
No, there was a lot of people like that, brother.
I'm just talking about Hall of Fame only right now.
That's what I'm talking about.
All right.
Yeah. It's a pecking order. With everything you do, there's a pecking order. What they do for one wrestler, you're not going to get that treatment.
All right, so it's Hall of Fame weekend. You get your coach flight that isn't direct to Chicago with your lovely wife. You get your rent-a-car. And will you put up in the WWE hotel at least?
Yep.
You didn't have to pay for your own hotel.
He wanted all us there so he could grab a hold of us when he wanted. That's the only reason that we was there. But if he had his choice, I wouldn't have been there.
Did they give you a tux or did you bring your own?
You had to bring your own.
You had to pay for your own tuxedo?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. They ain't gonna give you nothing. Are you crazy?
Well, I know they fit a lot of the guys nowadays.
It depends on who you are.
All right. You weren't worthy of a tuxedo.
I wasn't in that category.
So where did you get the tux from?
My wife took me to a place where I got fitted, and I had to rent one.
You look really good.
I had to take it back.
Oh, you didn't even keep it? Okay.
No, it
well, why else
tux.
would you need it?
Yeah. I rented it. I had to go rent me a tux. He told me, you got to have a tux. I said, I don't have one. He said, I'm sure there's some place around where you can rent one.
Who said that now, the Fink?
Yeah.
So you walk into the WWE hotel, WrestleMania weekend. What's your first impression? Did you see a lot of people you knew running around? Nobody you knew running around?
I saw a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Some I knew, some that I didn't know.
Were you greeted warmly?
By the office, not by the wrestlers.
Not by the wrestlers, really? Can you think of anyone that you may have expected a hello and a handshake from that you didn't get one when you first walked in?
Not really.
No.
No, not really.
Most
of them were kind of standoffish.
You think it was...
They shake your hand, but then they're gone. See, the thing about what have changed from days guys were more sociable with each other. Now the wrestlers are afraid to be sociable. They're afraid they're going to say something to me that get back to the office, and at the office they're going to take it lightly. So most of the time, the wrestlers, they're on the computer. Or you see them sitting there, playing with their cell phone or on the computer.
Typing, yeah.
Well, in the older days, you see a bunch of guys sitting around having a beer, laughing and joking, talking, telling old stories. They don't do that anymore. If you could go in a WWE dressing room in the older days, like with Tony Rumble, all the laughing and joking and carousing.
Everybody was kind of having a good time.
Yeah, everybody having a good time. Now, it's so quiet in a WWE dressing room, you can hear a rat piss on cotton.
A ring rat or a physical one?
A rat.
A rat. Okay.
There's an old saying, you can hear a rat piss on cotton. You know how quiet that is.
Yes.
A mouse is quiet. You hear a mouse picks on quiet. I mean, it's quiet, almost like a ghost town. Nobody talks to nobody no more. They're all afraid to socialize. Everybody is job scared. See, in older days, the guys were more loose.
Yeah.
With what they say and how they feel. Because if things didn't work in WWF, you go to WCW.
Go somewhere else.
You always had a place to go. Now, if it don't work out for you with Vince, you go home.
You go from having the action figure in Walmart to working at Walmart.
Exactly. Exactly. So guys are really, really afraid of doing anything that would jeopardize them being there.
All right, Tony, I'm hearing the music in the background. Right now, we're going to take a brief timeout. When we come back, we're going to look at the Hall of Fame ceremony itself and Tony's fellow inductees. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. We'll be back after this brief timeout.
Amherst. On Sunday, March 24th, WWE Live returns on the road to WrestleMania with a massive main event as Braun Strowman collides with Baron Corbin in an epic battle. Plus, anything goes when Finn Balor takes on Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre in a brutal triple threat match for the Intercontinental Championship. And don't miss your favorite superstars. It's WWE Live on the road to WrestleMania in Amherst, Sunday, March 24th. Tickets are available.
They're ready to take their rightful place amongst the literary greats. Who, you ask?
The New Day!
That's who. It's the Book of Booty. Shake it, love it, never be it. It's the feel-good story of the rise of the New Day. Loaded with games, trivia, coloring pages, and so much more. The Book of Booty. Shake it, love it, never be it. Available now online or wherever books are sold.
Wrestling fans, welcome back to Memories and Legends before WWE hits the road on the fast lane to WrestleMania. We're back with Memories and Legends here, Tony. It's the season finale before we start up with Season 3, WrestleMania weekend. That's going to be a blockbuster weekend, not only for WWE, but for us here at Memories and Legends. We're going to be headed down to WrestleCon in New York City. A lot of big things happening, baby.
Well, that's beautiful. You know, and that's a good thing about the WrestleCon. Because, like I said earlier, it's one of the very few places where the fans can actually meet the wrestlers.
And they have a chance to really spend a moment with them, as opposed
get
to
their autograph, shake hands, take pictures with them, hear some of the old stories and everything. So
WWE's Fan Fest can be a little rushed.
It is rushed.
Yeah, I think the fan gets a more intimate experience, like you said, more than just a quick autograph high.
Right,
next person autograph high.
Keep moving.
Exactly. They're not rushed through like cattle.
And then if you try to talk to somebody, they get mad at you.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, you can't talk to nobody.
WrestleCon is very different.
Get on. Kind of like a similar land.
Yeah. I know our good friend in the back, the little Dutch boy, enjoyed his WrestleMania experience. He even had to ride in the trunk down in New Orleans last year.
Well, I'll tell you about WrestleMania with all the little things. It's still one of the greatest experiences.
Sure is.
That anybody could experience. To be in that arena and to see the matches and the performers and feel the energy, it's a wonderful experience.
I tell you, mentioning him in the back right now, it was the first, WrestleMania or anything like that he'd been to, and he was blown away by the spectacle that it was. Not just the actual wrestling, but the pomp and circumstance surrounding it. It was an amazing experience.
And I would never get my greatest WrestleMania.
2?
No.
13?
No. 1.
Because you got paid not to be there.
Not to be there.
You love that story.
I'm the only wrestler in the world that was paid not to show up. He paid me not to show up.
$2,000 to stay home.
Vince had never paid any wrestler not to wrestle. I'm the only wrestler. That's why I'm so proud of that. I'm the only wrestler that was paid not to get in the ring.
That was your WrestleMania moment.
Paid not to be there.
All right, well.
I was standing outside the door.
And you got your $2,000.
He said, Vince said you got the day off.
His $2,000, go out with your wife. All right, well, back to...
Never happened before in pro wrestling.
We're going to have a good time in New York City. We want to go back now to 2006, the month of April. It was the Hall of Fame induction. You had your flight to Chicago. I don't know how many stops you had. You had your rent-a-car. You're in the hotel. You're getting some handshakes, but maybe not warm conversations. Now you head over to the theater. It's time for the Hall of Fame. Tony, Was there a big ceremony? I remember when I went with Sheik, there was a big party beforehand.
They have a spread for the boy.
Yeah.
There was not necessarily a party. They just lays the food out for the
Yeah.
boy. Well, he do that at every TV. You go to Monday Night Raw, he does that anyway. Because you at that building all day long,
Right,
you got to
you
eat.
have to eat.
He does that so the guys don't go out or sing off.
And risk not coming back.
Right, yeah, because guys got to eat. So if it's right there, otherwise we'd be sending people back and forth to get us food. You know, you can't be there all day long without anything to eat.
Did you see anybody at the kind of enclosed gathering before the Hall of Fame ceremony? Did you see any veterans that you hadn't seen in a while?
Well, I mostly spend most of my time with my wife and S.D. Jones.
Okay.
So we sat around for hours and just reminisce on everything. So I was only happy to see two people. Chief J. Strongbow and S.D. Jones.
Other than that, you didn't care about anybody?
I could care less about
Really?
them. Yeah.
Oh, Tony, I don't know, but you personally selected SD.
Yes.
And he got his $3,000.
Yeah.
He did. I know, Tony. It isn't my first rodeo.
You fairly got me out of it. Yeah. You're sneaky. You know you're sneaky.
SD must have been thrilled with you that weekend.
Well, SD really didn't want to go. He
How come?
said, Tony, I'll do it only for you.
How come he didn't want to do it?
Towards the end, I think he was a little bit on the better side. You know, he worked so hard and never really got that, you know, that break. And then they were giving out all them agent jobs. They gave Guerrilla jobs. They gave...
he would have liked to have been an agent?
Well, he didn't want to go work for the paper company.
Is that what he went to do after
wrestling? Well, yeah, he worked for New York Times.
Oh, did he? Doing what?
Yeah. He was a supervisor.
Really?
Yeah, he was in charge of the carriers. Mm-hmm. So he went to work every morning at 4, and he would give them their assignments. And they go out and do the delivery. And then when they come back in the evening, they check in with SD, and SD go home. He worked by, you know, and that's what he ended up doing. He ended up working for the New York Times. But I'm sure SD would have loved to have been an agent because he put in so many years with Vince, and he was the most loyal. You could never find anybody that had more loyalty to the WWF at that time than SD Jones. Nobody. SD did everything that they wanted him to do. He was never late, never any problem. And then when the office position was passed out, everybody during his period of time got a position in the office with the exception of SD. So I think that left a kind of a bitter taste.
I could understand that.
A bitter taste in his mouth that he had to go and work in a regular job when he could have stayed in the profession that he loved and enjoyed so much, you know. And his wife told me that.
That's too bad.
That kind of broke his heart.
Did his wife come along too?
Yeah, you know, they made Tony Guerrero the agent,
Blackjack
Lanza, Goulet, all them guys.
Steele, your
Steele,
buddy?
Everybody but SD.
I liked SD Jones. I never met him, but it's just as an in-ring, I liked SD.
Yeah. And you know something? Not to say that race was played a part, but you know Vince never had a black agent.
I'm trying to think off the top of my head, and at least in that era, I can't think of anyone.
Never had a black agent.
Well, Devon Dudley is now.
Is he?
Yep.
He's the first.
Really?
He's the first.
All right, well, let me ask you this, Tony. Let's go through these great Hoffers and inductees. First, we mentioned him, probably the most meaningless one that was part of the group. A man kind of fitting that it happened in Chicago, where he took part in the WrestleMania 2 NFL versus WWF Battle Royal, the refrigerator William Perry inducted by John Cena. Did you get a chance to reminisce with William at all, or?
Yeah, well, we sat back in the back and we talked, him and me and SD, you know, we talked about, and he always joked with me about what happened to him. I went to press slam him. I got to bring you the picture next time I see. I got a picture of me holding him up.
Do you?
And you can see him jumping out of my arms in the picture.
Why?
He's never been picked up before. He's a 300-some-pound man. So I got him to right here. And he looked down at me and go, I hope they told you that this was, with the words he used, that this was staged. I said, stage, what that mean? He said, well, you know, it's planned, everything planned. I said, well, Ain't nobody told me nothing. He go, oh! And for somebody took a picture of him doing that, I got to bring you the picture.
I want to see that.
And I'm laughing. I'm telling you. I tell him, don't move. I said, I'm going to drop you on the head and break your neck. He said, oh, nobody talked to you. I told him, ain't nobody told me nothing. He go, oh! He tried to jump out of my arms. I got him up in there like this. He wasn't trying to jump out of my arms.
Did you have a chance?
You can see him, he got one leg out and the other leg, I'm holding the other leg, I'm trying to hold on to it, because if I let him go, he's going to fall and break his freaking neck.
Right. You couldn't drop him.
Oh, he was scared to death.
Yeah.
And then you see the other wrestlers, they run right over to the corner. I guess somebody back in control said, get Tony out of there. And as soon as I left, about 5 guys grabbed a hold of me and threw me out. They all jumped on
I want to
me.
go back and watch that on tape, too.
Yep.
Did you have a chance to talk with the Fridge at all at the ceremony?
Yeah. Me and him, we talked back in the back. But mainly we talked about food and music and, you know, the South and how we was raised.
So was he a Southern guy?
Yeah. We all was pretty much raised up in that same environment. Nobody was from the South or the North. Mm-hmm. It was just what we call the black neighborhood. So it was the same no matter was in Richmond, Virginia, or New York or Boston. It was the lifestyle wasn't that much different. The environment was, but the way of living for us down in Virginia was no different than a black person living in Massachusetts. It was the same challenges.
All right, Tony.
For that period of time. Not today. Today is much, much better.
What about a great lady that was inducted by the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, that year? Sensational Sherri Martel.
Yeah.
Did you get a chance to know Sherri all that much?
Sherri, I knew her very well.
How did you know Sherri all that well?
Well, when Sherri was in WCW, I knew her then. And then when she left the WWF, me and Sherri became real, real close because she lived in Tennessee. And I used to go to Tennessee, Kingsport, Tennessee. And I used to work with a guy about once a month and it had a thing going. He called me, said he's going to try to put something back, but every time he called, nothing to come through here lately. But his name is Jeff Timmerley. And he used to run shows, and me and Sherri became very, very close. And he called me, and Sherri used to call me all the time.
Really?
When she was in Boston here, and her dog just came out, she knew I live in Portland, and she invited me down. She always used to call me. Me and Sherri used to talk on the phone at least once a week.
Really?
My wife loved her to death.
Wasn't she a nice lady?
She was a wonderful, wonderful person. Now, what happened to Sherri, no matter the true story, that is from her husband. Both her husband and her was on medication for pain medication. And Sherri was rushing out the house. She took the wrong medication.
Oh, really?
And that's what happened to her, yeah. She took his medication, which had a chemical effect with what she already had.
So she didn't overdose on pain pills?
No.
I'll tell you this, Tony, and you know, sometimes I have to watch my mouth with certain things I say. Well, we have so many great friends in WWE, but I think it's an atrocity that where WWE is so willing to spend money to send folks to rehab that need it. Sherri Martel needed a spinal fusion, and she had no way to pay for it.
Yeah.
If that spinal fusion was taken care of, I think there's a very good possibility Sherri Martel would be living right now.
That's true. Yeah.
And I don't know if it's WWE's responsibility. Sherri Martel worked in a lot of different wrestling promotions. But I think there's something wrong with the nature of the industry as a whole, not WWE, but something wrong with the industry as a whole with the fact that all that woman needed was a surgery. And again, she'd likely be alive right now and someone we could have in this studio to share some memories and legends with. I really liked meeting her. She was a nice lady, and I was very sad when she passed.
People expect WWE to do a lot of stuff.
They're not responsible for everybody for the rest of their lives.
Well, no, that ain't what I'm saying, but they expect that. It's not, when you say these things, it's not the WWE thing. What it is this. When you work for any major company, they're not there for your health.
Right.
You're there to serve a purpose. When you no longer need it to serve that purpose. Like for example, we had a paper mill up in Millinocket. Well, the money started to go down. So they just closed the mill. They would take a factory that supply work for thousands of people and just closed because they could do it cheaper somewhere else.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's just corporate.
Yeah.
That is just corporate. They looking at the reason machines are taking the place of humans. Costs, labor costs.
Sure.
Cut labor costs. Cut labor costs. So one company that used to hire maybe 100 people only need maybe 2 people now. Cut costs. Like you talked about earlier about me getting first, not flying first class. Well, he could fly me to Chicago for $250 or put me in first class for $700. What do you think he's gonna do?
Right. I just, as far as those first class trans go for the Hall of Fame, I thought it was custom.
You don't become a billionaire being generous.
Well, when you only have 6 or 7 talents.
You don't become a millionaire by being generous.
I get you. You're not wrong.
You become a billionaire by cutting costs at every corner. If this cost me $10 this year, next year I'm looking to see if I don't want to pay $10 for it. I want to see if I can get it for $1. I would pay you your $10 this year, but then next year
you want the discount.
Now how can I get this cheaper? Every businessman, they look to do things cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. I was so blessed to get inducted in the Hall of Fame in 2006.
Why?
The ring.
Was that the first year they gave out the rings?
No. At the first time they gave out a ring that looked like a Hall of Fame ring.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Have you saw the new ones?
Yes.
Oh, look, not like look at the work that went into that. Look at the work that went into that.
That's a heavy ring, Tony. I almost dropped it.
Yeah, but look at the work, all the design.
Wow.
See what I'm saying? Now they just put a big black thing there and put the WWE in the middle. They don't have that craftsmanship no more.
No, because even when you just look at the logo, it's
just the logo.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
If you wear that ring now, nobody on earth gonna ever think in 1,000 years that's a Hall of Fame ring.
Right. No, you're right. Yeah.
I mean, a high school ring got more. You know, you can get your high school ring. It got
they
more.
They don't look all that different.
Yeah, I mean, no. A high school ring got more going on. At least they got the name of the high school and everything. I ran this. Lenny Poffo showed me Randy Savage ring.
Yeah.
And the first thing I told him, I said, "Boy, I'm glad I didn't get that one."
Do you think that the weekend of Randy Savage's induction that Lanny gave himself some fellatio?
Well, who?
Some fellatio.
What the hell is that?
You know,
what a fellatio?
Lanny,
now you got like Judge Judy. I love Judge Judy. She's my #1 program on TV.
Judy.
Judge Judy. I love Judge Judy. And she got this they call a fafafa.
This isn't a fafafa. This is a fellatio.
Yeah. She said you got a fafasa. If it walk like a duck, quack like a duck, it's a duck.
Well, Lanny was known
and
to...
if it don't make sense, it's not true. Judge Judy.
Lanny was well known to give himself that self-service.
Oh, I don't know nothing about that.
Oh, yes, you do. Don't you dare.
How I know what that man did
He
in his
used to
life?
roll himself into a ball and give himself the fellatio on the locker room floors to entertain the boys.
Oh, my goodness.
You never saw Lanny give himself fellatio.
No, never saw fellatio.
Tony, I don't know. We're going to have to hook you up to the lie detector.
Yeah. I didn't hang out with the Poffos.
Yeah.
Me and SD was running buddies.
You probably would have watched them run.
I was up in the room getting stepped on by some woman. I didn't care what Lenny did in his
room.
room.
You enjoyed being stepped on by the women.
Oh, yeah. I'd get me a woman, get her some new tennis shoes.
That was the only fellatio you were worried about.
That was my shoe fellatio roll, baby.
Shoe fellatio?
Yeah, I'd get in the room, and I'd tell the girl, kick me in the face 50 times. How hard do you want it? How hard can you give it, baby?
Oh, wow, this is...
Lay them shoes in there, baby. Pow, 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 pow.
All right.
Oh, I love you, baby. Kick me some more.
Did you ever have Sherri Martel walk on you?
No, she was my friend.
No, you don't let friends walk on you.
No, I didn't mess with the wrestling. We're professional.
I understand.
You work with women. You have to keep it at a professional relationship with people you work with.
Given the nature of Sherri's feet, if she was outside of wrestling, would you have let her done it?
Yeah.
She had nice feet.
Yeah, well, I don't know about her feet, but
her nice
it's like
shoes.
me and Wendy Rickler. You know, I never got out the way with Wendy. Mickey James never got out the way with her. You can ask any of the WWE women. You can talk to them and say, no, Tony.
I've done my research.
Yeah,
they told me.
Tony was always a perfect gentleman around us. You know,
all right.
I never did that because, you know, you're in a professional atmosphere, and I wanted the women to feel comfortable around me.
And you were a gentleman.
Well, I want to be comfortable. They was there for the same reason I was there, to make a living. They was not there to satisfy my freakish behaviors.
Unfortunately, WWE is never going to put out a Sherri Martel 3-disc DVD, even though she contributed a heck of a lot to the company.
Well, you don't know that.
Well, come on, Tony. You think there's going to be a Sherri Martel DVD? Let's be real. But she contributed so much when she was the women's champion. She managed Macho Man Randy Savage. She was with Shawn Michaels. She was with $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase. She wore the wig when she managed Honky Tonk Man as Peggy Sue. Can you tell us maybe a story, a memory about the great Sherri Martel that the fans may never hear out of a WWE production?
Not really.
Nothing.
Because I only knew her on a professional basis. I didn't like go out partying or.
Well, I'm not saying partying. I just mean whether it be an anecdote from real life when you were out and about with her, something professionally.
No. We just sat and talked like me and you do. We
Friends. You were friends with Sherri.
We were just friends, and we kept it on a professional basis. That's all.
A genuine human being.
Yep. I didn't party with her or nothing like that. No.
Great passion for the business.
Yep. She was a wonderful person.
I
loved her to death.
I think part of the
she used to call me all the time. Every time she was in the Boston area, Tony, where are you? She would always call me. And even when she was in the area, she would call me on the holidays. And another lady did the same thing that people don't talk about no more, Lady Amazon.
Who?
Amazon. That was her name, Lady Amazon. See, there was a lot of
She wrestled for WWF?
Well, no, but she wrestled on the women's circuit.
Oh, okay.
But the only people, like I said, the only wrestler people talk about are WWF wrestlers. Like nobody else ever exists. Like Wahoo McDaniel, they don't talk about Wahoo. Paul Jones, the Scott, Klondike Bill, all these people, Abe Jacob, that I always mention.
My back is killing me right now, probably like Sherri's did, where I need the same type of surgery. But I'll close by saying this about Sherri, where she gave so much of her, not her time and career to try and make guys look better, but she went out there trying to be the female Bobby Heenan, taking those big bumps from those big guys to get the show and those superstars over. I think it's a shame that something wasn't done for that woman to try and help her. And I wish she was here with us now. One man's opinion.
Where's the Tony Atlas video?
No, we're making our own, baby.
No, I'm talking about WWE.
WWE isn't going to make one.
But you know, I used to feel bad about how my career was cut short. But then I stopped. There was two guys, and you look them up, their career ended in the early 80s. And they was at the prime of their life when it happened.
You're going to have to help me.
Number one was Thunderbolt Patterson.
Okay.
1980, Thunderbolt Patterson in the 70s were the hardest black wrestler in the South.
Yeah.
Sold out every major business. The day they started WCW, Thunderbolt Patterson never got booked again.
Really?
When me and Rocket Johnson dropped the title, Rocket never was booked again. And they never called him back for anything.
Those are the two wrestlers. All right, Tony.
It was like they never... Think about it. When Rocket lost the title, what happened to him?
He was pretty much out of sight, out of mind.
Gone. Never called back. He called me back, like you said, to do the thing with Rocket's son, The Rock. Mm-hmm. Called me back to do the Saba Simba. Called me back to do Legend House. Never called Rocket back for anything.
And isn't it strange considering who his son is? You'd think you have The Rock, not only one of the great superstars in WWE history, but right now Hollywood galore in every big blockbuster there is out there. And they never use Rocky Johnson.
Never used Rocky Johnson. And you know why?
Do you think that's indicative of Rocky? Because I know this is a man that had some personality conflicts.
No. When me and Rocky lost the belt, well, you know, I stayed. Right. Vince beat me every night.
Jobbed you out.
Every night. Rocky told Vince, you are not going to make a jobber out of me like you did S.D. Jones.
So you think that's why Rocky never got used again, really?
Yeah.
Well, I know he ran into an issue where he was, believe it or not, The Rock's father was, I think he was a maintenance manager at one point, and he was wearing T-shirts that said Puta, and he wound up losing the job as a result of that.
Had what?
He had a T-shirt on that said Puta.
What the hell is that? You keep saying all this stuff.
You don't know what a Puta is?
No.
Little Dutch boy, Google Puta for the Hall of Fame of Tony Atlas. We'll tell you after the show, Tony.
Okay, yeah.
Well, it wasn't complimentary. Let me put it to you like that.
Okay.
And Rocky,
but I was there. I was there when he left. They just stopped booking him.
Did he have a Puta shirt then?
I don't know, but
Maybe.
I know they never called him back to do anything.
Well, he came back in '97 for a couple weeks with you.
With me.
Yeah.
And that was
why
it.
didn't that go anywhere? You don't know. All right. Tony, let's move on to one of the great tag teams of your era that was inducted the same weekend as you by Bobby Heenan, the man that loved to collect that $3,000 every year, when he inducted Blackjack Mulligan and Blackjack Lanza, the Blackjacks, believe it or not.
Oh, yeah. Well, the first time I met Blackjack Mulligan, the first time I met him in my life, I wasn't even a wrestler.
Really? Oh, that's right. Yeah, I remember you telling me that.
Yeah, I was working out at the Roanoke YMCA
in Virginia,
and I wasn't even a wrestling fan. I didn't even go to match. I knew nothing about pro wrestling, nothing. So I'm in there working out one day, and my buddy Alfonso Johnson, he said, "You know who that is?" I said, "I don't know who it is, but you're a pit freaking man." I said, "I never saw no. I never seen anybody that big." So he said, "That's Blackjack Mulligan." I said, "Blackjack what?" He said, "Mulligan." And I said, "What do he do?" He said, "He's a pro wrestler." I said, "Oh, man, I'm glad he ain't," because I was wrestling for high school then. I said, "I'm glad he's not on my wrestling team." So this guy came over, and Blackjack had 225 on the bench, and he would do like 10, 15 reps with it, but he never added any more weight. So because he was so big, all the guys was looking at him doing, at that time, I think I was bench pressing about 400.
Wow.
Most of the guys in the gym were doing like 315, 350. And he was at 225, you know? So this guy came over and said, "Hey, you wrestlers are not that strong." Blackjack just kept working out. He said, "Hey, I'm talking to you." Blackjack, "Talking to me?" He goes, "Yeah." He said, "Put some weight on that." Blackjack sat there for a while like this. Then I said, he just risen up, grabbed the guy by his neck, picked him up, put him on the wall, just like that, one hand.
Really?
Just like that. He said, "Look, father." He said, "I just drove from Richmond, Virginia. I didn't get to bed until 3 o'clock this morning. It is 7 o'clock in the morning. I ain't had my breakfast yet. All I want to do is do a light workout because I got to wrestle again tonight." He dropped him. Now, this little prick said, "Why don't you do that to Tony?"
He got you involved in it.
Try to pull me into it. "I didn't do that to Tony." I said, "Leave me out of it. Leave me. I don't want to mess with this guy, you know." I was only about 225 at the time. So Blackjack got mad and he left the gym because because the guy pissed him off. So he stormed out of the gym. So he's in the shower. So, my buddy Alfonso said, "Would you want to meet him?" I said, "Yeah." So me and Alfonso went down in the locker room, and Blackjack was coming out of the shower. So I was standing there. So Blackjack had to stop. He had a towel around him. And I stuck my hand and said, "Mr. Mulligan, my name is Tony. I just wanted to meet you." He said, "Oh, for a minute there, I thought you wanted to fight me." I said, "Are you freaking nuts?" Because he thought I was coming down to defend that guy.
Yeah.
And he always told that story in the dressing room about.
Oh, he remembered it.
And then he told me, I said, "Well, Sandy Scott and Jordan were talking about being wrestler." He said, "I think you make a good wrestler." He said, "If anything I can help you with, kid, you let me know." And sure enough, when I went to Charlotte to train to be a wrestler, Blackjack came in and helped me out and talked to me. And he kept the word. He said, "If you ever need any help, kid, to get into this business, you let me know."
So Blackjack Mulligan was good to you.
He was one of my best friends.
Now, he did run into some trouble where he had to serve time in jail for making counterfeit money. Did he kind of have a shady reputation?
No, Blackjack was a good hearted man.
So other than the stolen money?
No, what he did, he took the
heat for the Sun?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I see that. I knew Kendall was involved too.
Yeah, he got involved with some bad people to make money. But no, Mulligan he was a great, he always been a good friend of mine. He always treated me great. And then the second time I saw him was in Raleigh, North Carolina, after I broke into the business.
Right.
And I'm coming to do my first TB. And so George Scott said, let me show you how we do the TB, kid. He opened up the door, and Ole Adams came flying by the door, flying like a bird, and hit the floor. And George said, what happened? Oh, Mulligan slapped him. He slapped him so hard, he knocked him all the way across the freaking room.
A lot of guys revere about Blackjack Mulligan.
Blackjack
I know
would
Flair
knock
was
you-
one of them. He loved
Blackjack would knock your freaking head off, but he gave him one slap.
Open-handed?
Open-handed, and knocked Ole Adams up from where they did the TV across the floor. And luckily for us, as soon as George Scott opened the door, Ole came out the door. George said, what the hell is going on here? That's all just Mulligan. He slapped the shit out of Ole.
And Ole Anderson wasn't exactly a lightweight himself.
Now, the last time that I saw Mulligan, the last time was at the Hall of Fame.
Right.
But the other time before that when I saw Mulligan, it was a guy called Bob Roop. It was
Roop, okay.
Mario Savoni, Tony Rummer was there.
Yeah.
The Boston Bad Boy.
Yeah.
We was in Florida doing a TV taping. And Bob Roop had a wrestling school. Bob Roop brought his wrestler down to wrestle. He's standing in the door there. And Mulligan came over. The Iron Sheik was there. Mulligan came over, and he started pounding the hell out of Bob Roop.
Really?
Beat Bob Roop down to the ground.
Why?
Then, I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
He beat Bob Roop down to the ground. After he beat Bob Roop down to the ground, Bob tried to get up. He's all bloody, lip all swollen up, nose, both eyes closed, couldn't see where he was going. He tried to get up, and then Mulligan took his big old size 16 shoe, pushed him down the ground, and said, "Crawl out on your belly, like you're supposed to." Where the Sheik grabbed Mulligan to pull him back, he swung the Sheik up against the wall and said, "Sheik, when I'm fighting, don't you ever stop me again."
Wow.
Sheik go, "Okay, Mulligan." So then later on, Mulligan said, "Well, so you guys know what was going on." He said, Bob was a booker somewhere, or promote somewhere, and he sung Kingdom, his young boy there. And Bob Roop asked for him to come down. He said, "You're going to take care of my boy." Well, Bob Roop mistreated the kid. The kid told his dad. So Mulligan called Bob Roop and said, "If I ever see you, I'm going to whoop your ass."
He kept his word.
And he whooped. I mean, I never see a man get beaten like that.
Wow.
I mean, every time he hit him, knock him to the floor, pick him up, knock him back down.
It was a prolonged beating.
Man.
Wow.
He had bear paws. He had like. Then what did he do? When he first hit Bob dropped. He take his other hand, pull him up off the floor, knock him down again. We're like knocking pegs in a hole or something. It was almost like we have a hammer knocking nails in a board. And every time he hit him on top of the head, he hit the freaking ground. And if we bust him in the nose, the freaking blood shot out all over the wall and everything.
Wow.
Split his freaking lip, his face was this freaking big when he got through with him. Then he hit him an uppercut, and you could hear the ribs cracking.
Jesus. He was a big boy, big man.
And Bob couldn't even walk. Wow. And that's why Sheik thought Mulligan was going to kill him. So the Sheik came and grabbed and pulled Mulligan back, and he tried to get up, the poor guy, but he couldn't stand. He was dizzy. And then Mulligan said, crawl out. And then he swung the Sheik off him. Said, "Sheik, when I'm fighting, don't you ever get away." He looked back around. Bob was gone.
Wow.
He would have killed him.
And isn't it something, we talk about second, third generation wrestlers, that two of Blackjack Mulligan's grandsons are top WWE stars right now with
Who is that?
Bray Wyatt and Bo Dallas.
Were you riding?
Bray Wyatt. Though he carries the lantern, they have the lights when he comes out. The Wyatt family.
I thought Wwe Wyatt was Mike Rotundo's boy.
Yeah, Mike Rotundo married Blackjack's daughter.
No, I didn't know that.
You didn't know that? Oh, okay.
I did not know that. I did not know that.
Yeah, Bray Wyatt and Bo Dallas are Blackjack's grandsons.
I did not know that.
See, isn't it good that we talk?
Yeah, we is.
It is.
You taught me a lot about wrestling.
I don't know about that, but at least I sometimes can keep you up to date on things you miss out on.
I didn't know that.
All right, well.
I knew it was Mike Rotundo's boy.
Yeah.
But I didn't know Mike married Mulligan's daughter.
Yeah. Did you know the daughter?
No, I didn't.
No.
I stayed with them white girls.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I forgot what we were talking about. All right, Tony, any memories of Blackjack Lanza?
No, not really.
He became an agent. Did you have to interact with him at all?
Yeah, we were friends, but I didn't know a lot about him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely a deserving tag team, in your opinion?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Most definite.
Moving on, Tony, a man that was probably inducted by a guy he clung to too much in life. Verne Gagne, inducted by his son Greg. Certainly not the atypical wrestler of the 1980s that he pushed to death, but Verne isn't it interesting? At the end of his life, he turned into a scenario of almost like Chris Benoit when he hooked his roommate in a nursing home and killed the man.
Well, I'll be there.
Did you know that?
I hear it.
You heard about that? Yeah. Verne, he loved the amateur collegiate wrestling so much, he decided to hook a 90-year-old man
I'll be there.
in his Alzheimer's state, and he killed him.
Wow.
Talk about a crazy week at the nursing home.
Huh.
Verne, you had an interesting run with in the AWA. You went there, he gave you a big push with Jim Brunzell. You beat Hawk and Animal, the Road Warriors, for the titles, in a title change that vanished from history as a result of you leaving the AWA and leaving Verne high and dry to go back to WWF with Vince McMahon. What's the story?
Well, bad mistake, all I can say.
Yeah.
Bad mistake.
You were tricked.
Yeah, bad mistake.
WWF told you to come back, and they worked it out with Verne Gagne?
Well, Vince always had a problem with the truth.
Yeah.
He always had trouble with the truth. Yeah.
Did you have a chance to talk to Verne during the ceremony?
Yep, and he told me that he knew that Vince was lying to him.
He knew?
Oh, come on, Vince.
Well, I mean, did they actually ever even have the conversation?
Oh, well, I just go by what Verne said. Vince, I told Verne said, no use to explain. He said, I knew that Vince was lying when he called me on the phone.
He knew there was no intent on your behalf. Oh, so there was no heat.
Well, he know Vince.
Yeah. Well, look at all that Vince did to that company.
Vince got a problem with the truth.
Yeah.
He never had to tell it.
Oh, Tony, you're a funny guy, buddy. You're a funny guy. Any memories of Verne when you worked with him as a promoter, or I don't know if you really would have interacted with him much as a wrestler?
Well, no, right now I'm kind of brain dead. I had a 15-hour day, so my brain is gone dead right now.
Kind of like Verne when he was in the nursing home.
Yeah, now I feel like I'm in a nursing home.
Who do we got, Tony? We got three more. Mean Gene Okerlund, a man that has been known to love an adult beverage, was inducted by Hulk Hogan.
Good.
You like? Well, Mean Gene was someone you worked with a lot.
Yeah, well, not yeah. He was all right.
He was just all right.
Well, I didn't really know Mean Gene.
Yeah.
Gene was with, like I said, with Hulk Hogan.
He was a talented man.
He was with Hulk Hogan.
He was part of that clique.
He was with Hulk Hogan. You got to ask Hulk Hogan about Gene.
About Mean Gene?
I know nothing about Gene.
Well, you did live with him. You were actually slept in the same bedroom as Gene for 6 weeks.
They know how to kayfabe you.
You think Gene kayfabed you when you lived with him?
Do. Who wouldn't?
All right.
Of his era. Like I said, he was with Hulk Hogan.
He enjoyed an adult beverage now and then.
He was with Hulk Hogan.
What was his favorite type of beverage?
He was with Hulk Hogan. I can't tell you what I don't know.
You lived with him in the same house. What beverage did he like?
He kayfabed me. He hung around with, even then, he didn't talk to me there. He talked to Pat Powers and them, yeah.
Well, you did say he was very...
Me and Hillbillies hung out.
You said he was very clean.
Yeah, but that's all I know.
He cleaned the bathroom.
Yeah, he was just clean, but what more can I tell you? That he cleaned the bathroom. That's it. End of story.
Did he ever mistake the vodka for maybe a cleaning solution?
Don't know.
No, you don't know.
He was with Pat Patterson.
All right. Tony, two more, and a very emotional induction. The late Eddie Guerrero, just 4 or 5 months after he passed away.
I met Eddie Guerrero one day in my life.
Did you interact with him at all?
I met him one day in my life.
Yeah.
One day I met him. He just came up, shook my hand, walked away.
That was your only interaction with Eddie?
I can't tell you any more about Eddie Guerrero.
Kind of a sad part of the induction, though, to see his family. Well, you were at the induction, weren't you?
Yeah. I just shook hands with this guy. Now you want me to do a 15-minute promo?
Well, did you know that 70...
He said, hi, I'm Eddie Guerrero. I said, oh, I'm Tony Atlee. And that's it.
Well, did you interact with the Guerrero family at all at the party, at the ceremony?
He said, hi, I'm Tony.
I'm talking about after he died at the Hall of Fame ceremony, when he was inducted after his death.
What I'm gonna say
did you talk to any Guerreros?
I didn't even know she was a Guerrero. See, he does this to me all the time. He just go and say, now who the Tony don't know? That's who we gonna talk about. I don't know these people. See, that's what you don't understand about wrestling.
Tony, I do understand. You say it every time you
Yes,
hear.
you always
That
do
and
that.
74% of African American youth don't grow up with a father. You say that every time you hear.
Yeah, you didn't do that.
What do you mean?
You didn't do that. You didn't hang around with them white boys.
All right. Well, Eddie Guerrero wasn't white. He was Spanish.
He was with them. He hung around with the Honky Tonk.
right.
I was not welcome in their loop.
Any memories of the actual induction? It was kind of sad that a guy that just died 5 months before the age of 40, had passed away, and his family came out to accept the award. Do you remember that? No. All right. Well, that's fine. And,
He does that to me every time.
and last but not least, after 9 years from one of the most infamous moments in wrestling history, that being the Montreal Screwjob, Bret the Hitman Hart returned to Chicago to be inducted as the headliner of the 2006 class. Bret was someone that I know you worked with in ring.
And what do you want me to tell you about Bret? What do you want to know
Any
about?
memories of Bret?
No.
Nothing.
There was cliques. It's hard for you to understand
Well,
that.
you used to hang with Fuji. Bret was one of Fuji's guys.
No, he wasn't.
Sure he was.
No. I never seen Bret and Fuji together. Never.
There was the Hearts, Piper, Sheik,
I
Morocco.
I never seen Bret and Fuji together. Never.
Or maybe it was after you left.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I know he wrote a...
See what happened with the guy when the show was over? What you don't understand? Everybody went their own way.
Right. No, I do get that.
I went with SD, and they went to where they gonna go. We go to the room, we go to the bar, and like we walk in, I see bad guys in there. I can't go in there.
You leave.
And Bret was a heel then.
At that point.
So wherever Bret was at, if I got caught within 10 feet of Bret Hart,
You would have got heat.
I got fired.
Did you ever come across Bret during the Saba Simba run? Did you come across Bret at conventions, independent since?
I just see him and say hi.
What do you think of Bret as a talent?
I think he was a hell of a talent.
Do you think he was worthy of a main event run?
Oh, hell yeah.
Credible world champion?
Oh, yeah. Well, he put asses in the seat.
Let me ask you this. What do you think about that Montreal Screwjob incident? Who was the right? Who was in the wrong? Was it a little of both?
Well, you got to look at the results.
Right.
Who got hurt the most?
Bret. And then some.
Hurt himself.
Do you think it was wrong for any wrestler to say that they won't drop a title in a country?
Well, the same people that give it to you are the same people that can take it away.
It's their property.
It's their property.
Do you think that Bret...
If they trust you enough to put it on, you should be trusted enough to give it back.
Do you think that maybe in Bret's defense, he should have been reluctant to drop it to Shawn where he was
Why? He's leaving.
Well, Shawn was vocal in saying that he wouldn't...
He's leaving.
But let me just finish. He did say he refused to put Bret over, which I think Bret was insulted by.
He was leaving.
All right.
He signed a contract to go to WCW. He was leaving.
You think Bret should have done things
he's leaving.
the traditional way, so to speak?
Well, what was he before Vince made him?
He was up in Stampede working for his father.
He bit the hand that fed him.
But at the same time, to be fair to Bret Hart, I always try and tell both sides of it when I repeat the story.
There's only one side of it.
Vince is the one that forced him out of the company.
No.
Yes, he did.
No.
You are 110% wrong.
No.
He told him he couldn't honor his contract anymore, and that's why he opened up. He gave Bret the legal option to negotiate a contract with WCW.
He should have dropped the belt and left.
Do you think it was smart for Vince to keep the title on someone?
Wait, we keep talking about Vince. What did WCW do for him?
Nothing, other than give him a very healthy paycheck. A very healthy paycheck. When you're talking $2.5 million a year.
What did they do for his career?
For the actual in-ring ability,
What did
they ended
do
it.
for his
They
career?
ended it.
They ended it. Not Vince.
All right, well.
If he had stayed with Vince and renegotiated his contract, Mark Henry had to renegotiate his. Guys do that all the time. It's no big deal. Vince renegotiate contract because Vince is going in another direction, but he still wants you to be a part of it. So, but he's not going to use you in that.
Bret did have the choice to renegotiate. You're right. That's a very valid point.
And he
Again,
chose to leave the company.
if you were Bret, would you have seen something coming that night in Montreal?
No.
You would have expected the match to go through as planned.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough.
But still, you put yourself, like that's why when I wrote my book, I said I'm responsible because I put myself in that predicament. Vince did not force him out. They did not. Every wrestler make his own decision on who they want to work with. He could have stayed. All the guys renegotiate their contract. It's not a strange thing to do. You know, he just didn't want to do it.
He didn't want to take less money.
He didn't want to do it.
All right. Tony, we have covered the 2006 Hall of Fame class. Any final memories for you from that weekend?
Well, one of my best memories, believe it or not, in wrestling, not just WrestleMania, but in wrestling, was the Boston Bad Boy Tony Rumble. That was one of my best memories of wrestling in a whole.
Well, you know, Tony, I think now that it's 2019, this November it's going to be the 20th anniversary of his passing.
That's right.
I think we should do a nice special this fall.
On the Boston Bad Boy.
Absolutely.
Yes.
But anything else from that weekend? After it was over, did you you stayed for the WrestleMania show?
Me and my wife, we went to have dinner and we went to bed.
And did you enjoy the
The
WrestleMania?
only one that talked to me and my wife during that period of time, the only person other than S.D. Jones, was Mickie James, Sensational Sherri, that was it.
That was it. All right. Well, that was your.
They were the only two people. That's why my wife loved Sherri and she loved Mickie James because they were the only one that
They were
came
nice
up.
to
They
her.
were the only one that talked to us the whole time that I was there.
Did you enjoy WrestleMania the next night when you got out to walk out to the crowd and wave?
No.
You didn't really care for that, no. Waste of time?
Waste of time.
You would rather have gone home?
I sat around all the time just to go, and they barely showed me.
Just for a couple seconds, yeah.
Did I get a second?
You did. Two, I think.
You sure?
2. All right, Tony, that was the 2006 class of the Hall of Fame. This is our season finale. As usual, we go all over the place on these shows. It was kind of an interesting topic. You had some interesting thoughts.
Well, thank you.
On these fellow Hall of Famers. And don't forget, we'll be back WrestleMania weekend with the kickoff to Season 3 of Memories and Legends. I'm really looking forward to it, Tony. Are you?
Yes.
All right, for the Hall, for Tony Atlas, I'm Dan Marati. Until we speak again, folks, you and yours, be blessed, be well.